Hi, I'm Brianna Dillavue. I'm a social studies teacher in St. Joseph, Missouri with the St. Joseph School District. So the first settlers that came to Missouri obviously were going to be different Native American groups, but following them, when we're talking about European settlers, that would be the French fur traders that came into the area. They would come down from Canada, down the Mississippi, in across the Missouri River, and they were looking for different pelts that they could take back to trade. Following them, you had St. Genevieve eventually will become the first settlement kind of around where St. Louis is now. And from there, you mostly have fur trappers and French and Spanish traders coming in and out of the area until the Louisiana Purchase was made. The most important was rivers are like a highway. So since it was so easy to get across, it's fairly wide, flat area for most of it. They could come through the Missouri River. They could carry cargo. They used it for transportation to get from the eastern part of what's now the United States to the western part. The Missouri River really is a gateway from the west to the east. It brings everybody the ability to bring cargo, supplies, people from that eastern side to the western United States. Any cargo that could not be made itself, any supplies, would have to be transferred on the Missouri River if we're talking before the railroad, cars, steam engines, highways, and whatnot, because simply it had to be imported from back east. So we're talking clothing, fabric, ammunition, guns, food, metal, supplies, farming equipment, anything that you needed that you could not make yourself would have to be brought in. And they use the rivers for that. So boats originally would be made of wood, which is easy to damage. They had to change the style of the boat for the Missouri River because there are some parts that are more shallow. So they would go, there's the changes from going the materials from wood to metal. Now most ships, barges are made out of metal and stronger materials that are harder to damage. Other than the materials, you also have the style and the way they are powered. Originally, they would have been powered by paddle or by human force, which made it really hard to go upriver. But with the invention of the steam engine and eventually a combustion engine, then we're able to more easily go up the Missouri River and the Mississippi River and make our way west. Okay. The Missouri River is full of history. Like I said, it's quite literally the gateway from the east to the western part of the United States. It also serves as kind of a boundary once you get up, well, it is the boundary once you get up into Nebraska, Iowa, and South Dakota. Also, if you take a look at the railroad, the major railroad and roads that run across Missouri, a lot of them are going to follow the Missouri River because that's the original way that they used for transportation. A lot of our major cities in Missouri as well pop up because they're by the Missouri River, like St. Louis, Columbia, Jefferson City, St. Joseph, Kansas City. They become these hubs of shipping and transportation and people moving west because of where they're located on the river and their easy access.
My name is Natalie Stover. I'm 14 years old and I'm a resident of St. Joseph, Missouri. Probably have to be for my 9th birthday when my uncle came up to Missouri to come surprise me. And we went down to the Missouri River, and on the dock there was this couple and they had this fish. But my uncle got really scared and pushed me and my little brother aside because apparently he thought it was a shark. It turns out it wasn't even a shark and it didn't even have teeth. I live by the Missouri River, but I also live by a little pond called Corby Pond. So we take walks down there every once in a while to kind of look at it and sometimes occasionally fish and go feed the ducks. Putting this project together, I definitely have a lot more respect for people who edit things Even though it was my first time, it did take a while for me to kind of get the hang of it, and a very frustrated dad. I could tell was tired of reteaching me the same thing over and over. But it was a good learning experience. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I would definitely recommend to try it at least once. It's definitely more unique than others, I feel like, because Missouri has surprisingly a lot of lakes, a lot of rivers, and a lot of ponds to go to, and they're surprisingly big, even despite the fact that we have 2 rivers running through the state. The water source is really nice. Ponds are sometimes dirty, but that's still fine. Lakes are really fun to play in. I have so much fun going tubing with friends or even just going swimming with them.